Welcome to Tuesday Tips with Dr. Latanya Hughes and Shanae Jordan, where we share our thoughts on different topics to help you be the best version of you possible so you can spread lots of love and light. Let's see what we're talking about this week. Thanks for watching.
Hi, y'all.
Hi.
We're back. It's finally another Tuesday tip, but we're doing a little bit different because we had so many problems trying to go live.
Right.
In the beginning, it was fine, and now it's just, I don't know, issues. It don't matter what we do. So we are going to take a different route to Tuesday tips, and we're going to record episodes and upload them on our Instagram channel. So thank you for tuning in, and send us topics of stuff y'all want us to talk about. So, we want to address things that are important to you.
Mm-hmm.
But today, right now, we're going to continue on our train of thought that we've been talking about with just kind of dealing with taking care of yourself and a healthier you. Shanae likes to say your peace of mind is just not worth, some of all of this extra stuff.
Yeah.
Your mentals. It's your mentals.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's fine. I think it's Mental Health Awareness Day, or was it yesterday? Was Mental Health Awareness Day or something? I don't know. But anyway,
Something like that. Yeah.
I think every day we need to be thinking about what's going to make us whole and better. And so today, I'm choosing to talk about pressing the mute button on people online and in real life. Because sometimes you just need to put people on pause for 30 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just fast from people for 30 days.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to say it, but Facebook got me spoiled. I mute everything. I mute conversations, people, groups, name it. I mute it for 30 days. Like,
people just be doing too much.
It's too much. It's too much. I don't want to see.
See everything. Okay, let's just say everything. Because people do the most, and in person and online, it's just like, come on, I've had to mute somebody, and it's just like, because you just negative. Like, every time I see you on all your social media sites and you're negative, you're complaining about something, like, is anything going right in your life? Like, I feel like I see you, you see me. So I feel like you should be grateful that you're alive, like something. It's either with the baby daddy, it's either with baby mama, it's either with just life, finances. And I understand that, life happens. We all have moments where, we want to cry out and vent, and we have those days. But every day, like Monday through Sunday, 365 days, like you just negative? No, mute. And when you call me, I'm screaming, because it's like, do I want to deal with it? Do I want to hear the negative? Like, do I want to, especially if I'm doing great, I'm in a good mood. Like, do I want to hear you complain, all the time and bring me down, girl, boy? No. My mental. I don't care how long we knew each other. I'm going to stick to that. I don't care how long. My mental. It's way more important. Listen, get with it. Hashtag.
I agree. I agree. You don't always want to see negative. You don't always want to see death.
Right. Yeah.
Or, every time you turn around, somebody around you dying, or somebody around you, or all you see is drugs. Like, to me, I don't want to see drug paraphernalia, drug behavior, drug anything, and you making up excuses as to why it's good for you and all this kind of care. That's just not me. I don't want to see that. Again, I understand that life happens and people pass away. Don't get me wrong. I understand that. But if everybody around you, if this is a pattern, to me, it's like the writing is on the wall. But if you don't see that, I don't want to see that around your space, because for me to see that around people is disheartening. And it's like, okay, it's almost equivalent to negative. That's toxic. A toxic lifestyle is not what I wish to see when I log in.
Right.
And so these days, I haven't been on social media much anyway, but when I was doing more Instagram than Facebook. And so it's like,
Yeah.
This is my face. This is what I'm doing. Like on Instagram, like this. This is what I'm doing on Instagram. Like it's really scratching my head moments because I'm trying to figure out what is your life like? Like how is any of this helping you live your best life? Like how is this living life?
Yeah.
When it's one toxic situation after another, but you don't see that as toxic. And you know, it's kind of like, how do you not know this is toxic? But then the other thing that gets me is
Oh Lord.
folks in these streets on foolishness, like you living like hell. 25 days, maybe 28 days of the month. And then you want to put Jesus in there, sprinkling him like condiments and be like, Lord bless me. Or I need relief from this. Or salvation is not a condiment that you sprinkle on from season to season your life.
Right.
But people do that. And so, and I don't care if it's, now let me say this, whether you are a Christian or you observe Buddha or whatever it is, you can't have some type of faith-based religion, whatever, that philosophy, and live a life contradictory to that philosophy.
Right.
That doesn't make sense to me, because how can you expect to see any fruit from this belief system that you have, but you live contrary to that?
Yeah.
And so I want to mute that. And unfortunately, Instagram doesn't have it where you can mute people.
Right.
But I'm gonna have to start unfollowing people.
Right. Exactly.
And it's unfortunate, but sometimes that's the best thing to do, because again, like Shanae said, it's your mental. I don't care how long I've known you, because time passes. Who you were when I knew you isn't who you are now, or you might be the same, but I'm different.
Right.
And I don't want that in my space, because again, my mental is more important to me than time, because you might be stuck in some parallel loop while everything else and everybody is moving on. And so I guess my point is, it's healthy and it's completely okay to press the mute button on people. I don't care if it's in social media or in real life. I do it with friends. I do it with folks now. I don't care, friends, family, whoever. I look at, nah, I ain't gonna be able to deal with that today. Now, if I'm genuinely busy, okay, I'll call you back. Might take me a minute, but I'll call you back. But if I don't call you back, you're on mute.
Yeah.
For a while. Why? Because it's some people, and how do you know when to mute people? When they're draining. You know people who drain you. You can tell people who are draining. And you already know it. Mute. It's all right to mute people. You might not mute for 30 days, but mute for a couple of days, maybe a week or two. It's all right. They'll get it. Did they die by the time you come back online? Did they die?
It's the same thing. No.
It's the same thing. You haven't missed a beat. They ain't missed a beat. It's the same stuff. So how is your advice or whatever it is that you're going to say or do going to help change the situation? Because 9 times out of 10, you're going to give advice and they still going to do what they want to do and still be in the same mess.
You better say that again.
So, are you really helpful at the end of the day?
Yeah. And mute those people who you keep giving the same advice to over and over and over and over again. Mute them, because at some point they got to learn on their own. I mean, you can't. And the thing is that something that Dr. LaTanya Hughes has always taught me is that you can't want something better than, well, I don't know if it's the right word to use, but you can't want it more than that person.
Yeah, you can't want it more. Yeah, you can't want something more for someone else than they want for themselves. You can't. It doesn't work that way. That's like a +1. And
right.
You can't go through life on a +1 forever. At some point, that +1 train is going to come to an end.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you can have some RSVPs. Let's talk about, like, for instance, okay, say you're planning your wedding, some big event. Some people don't allow children. And some don't allow children up to a certain age. Like they might say 2 and under, 1 and under. Because they're infants. You ain't going to leave your infant child with just anybody, and they're okay. But
Right.
after, some people don't allow toddlers.
Mm-hmm.
Some people don't even allow +1. I'm inviting you because I may not
Mm-hmm.
like who you invite. I may not
Right.
know this. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
you what, and you, people can feel how they want to feel about it, but at the end of the day, it's your wedding. It's
Mm-hmm.
your event. So
Mm-hmm.
it's your memory. It's whatever you are creating for yourself. You have to see your life like that and your
Yeah.
space like that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, all these other people are +1s,
Mm-hmm.
and you have a right to screen and designate those +1s in your life.
You do.
And sometimes, you need to put the mute, but let's put a pin in you for a minute, and I'll come
Mm-hmm.
back along and pick you back up
Right.
when you're ready.
Right.
And if you never get ready, that mute button gonna stay on. We're gonna keep you
Right.
pinned to this wall right here,
Right.
because we have to move on, because
Right.
something about you is unhealthy. Something about you is too toxic for my
Mm-hmm.
lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And that's important, because you have to, your decisions have to be more, not just short term, but long term. Where
Yeah.
are you going? Where do you see yourself? And start living that now, which
Mm-hmm.
means you got to get rid of some people. You might have to get rid of somebody. What kind of
Mm-hmm.
life are you building for yourself so that you can live it to the fullest?
Right.
And sometimes you can't do that with certain people, so you got to mute them.
Yeah. Yeah, it may feel strange. Yeah, you may feel like, oh, you may even have a thought, well, am I being mean? Am I wrong for it? Because trust me, I to this day still have issues with that sometimes, because you never want to not talk to people that you genuinely care about. You
Right.
don't. Especially if you would talk to them every single day, you really had a great relationship with them, but where you are in your life, you just like, listen, I just can't.
Right.
I just cannot. Even though I may want to, but I just can't. Don't feel bad, because again, it does not matter how long you've known this person. Your mental is way more important. It's way more important. If you find yourself always have to, drink when you're talking to somebody, or when you have to say, girl, let me get a smoke before I talk to you, or, you know what I'm saying, let me do X, Y, Z, whatever you feel like you have to do in order for you to adjust to this person, and you normally don't do that, it says something. So, don't feel bad. It's about you. I'm sorry. Be selfish. It's okay to be selfish. Even though the world says, oh, don't you so selfish and you don't care about me. No, I care about you enough to say, baby, I need to sit you to a side for right now, because I may say something that you don't like and it can harm you. You know what I'm saying? We don't think about stuff like that, because I can tell you something. You can be like, well, that was harsh. You may not have meant it harshly, but they took it that way. So you're harming them more than you're helping them in that situation. So
Right.
it's okay. Listen, y'all, it's okay.
And something you said is just really key. It triggered something for me as well. Sometimes the best thing is to stop talking because you're contributing to the delinquency.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so pressing the mute button, because some people just can't control themselves. They just got to speak on everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's probably not only in your best interest, but that other person's best interest for you to press the mute button.
Yeah.
Don't contribute to the delinquency,
Yeah.
because the more you keep talking, you're not helping. It's just hitting a brick wall, and it's just bouncing back to you. And
Right.
and yeah, they need to learn. They may need to learn for themselves, for sure. But sometimes sometimes just being that listening ear, you may not even give advice, but just that listening ear, you're contributing to the delinquency.
Yes.
Because you're contributing to the delinquency because the behavior never changes.
Mm-hmm.
A
Mm-hmm.
lot of times, sometimes we're just listening and we don't say anything, but silence can be consent.
Yep.
So people think that it's okay to keep doing what they're doing.
Yep.
Oh, so and so ain't said anything, so it must be okay. Mm-mm.
Mm-hmm.
They don't get that. Sometimes silence means you need to get somewhere and sit down and stop it, because this is ridiculous. And so
Yeah.
mute. Don't even lend your ear to those people.
Yeah.
And yeah, sometimes you might see some stuff, and sometimes you need to mute, because what you see will irk you so much that it's like, you're better than this. I just want to shake you.
Right.
But they'll take it the wrong way, and you don't know where they are in
Mm-hmm.
that, at that point in their life, what's going on up here in their own mind.
Mm-hmm.
That what you say might, and again, you may genuinely, you may hear it one way, saying it one way, but they hear it a totally different way.
Mm-hmm.
And how they receive it and perceive it is completely different than what you meant. And so
Right.
guess what? Now it becomes something totally different than what you intended. Listen, I've learned the hard way. You won't get me helping nobody, not nan mo, in certain situations. Why? Because when your good intentions get thrown back in your face, or you end up on the bad end of the stick.
Yeah.
So I've learned I don't volunteer to help, and I mute whole conversation, whole people. I
Mm-hmm.
mute relationships. I mute, like, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't come to me. If they come to me for advice, no, I can't help you with this.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because the last time,
Right. Right.
and my good intention turned bad on me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still, no. What we're not gonna do is that. We're
Mm-hmm.
not gonna do it. So I need to mute you and all of this. I can help you with everything. You want to talk business, you want ideas about this fine. But when
Yeah.
it comes to your personal,
Mm-hmm.
that's not part. I'm not stepping into that ground, that territory with you. That's a whole mute. So you can, and when it comes to muting people, you might mute certain parts of their life. I can help you when it comes to your business and business ideas and da 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 da. No problem. But your
Mm-hmm.
personal life is on permanent mute.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because I'm just not gonna be able to. Why? Because,
Mm-hmm.
and
And I
so
do that all
sometimes it's a two-way street. When you're
the time.
muting people, so it's a two-way street. It's not just for your benefit, but a lot of times, like Shanae said, it's for their benefit as well. They
Yeah.
may not see it until they come out on the other side of their foolishness.
Mm-hmm.
But in the meantime, who's the more mature person? And
Right.
and really, the muting people, it's really a mature conversation. It really is. It's not like, oh, is it? No. You're just mature enough to be able to say, okay,
Right.
this ain't gonna work. So yeah.
Yeah. It's not childish. It's none of that. Whatever the word. And, when you come to a point when you have to mute someone, where it's social media or it's, your personal life or your job or whatever, you're not being childish about it. So whatever, don't let the world get you thinking that you're being childish, you're being selfish, because that's what the world does. That's what social media really does. And no, it's about you. It's really about it. Trust me, I do it all the time, like, especially when it comes to, what I'm saying, religious views and things. I can pray for you. I can, say, minister to you. We can have a conversation on that level. But when it goes down to other things, sometimes I'm like, you know what, I just can't help you with that.
Right.
Like she said, I just can't, because it's just not going to work.
Right.
It's just not. For whatever reason, it's just not gonna work. And I hope that, and then in your mind you can be like, well, I hope that you can respect that. I mean, but you're not entitled to other people's opinions. I mean, feelings. I
Right.
can't help how you feel if I tell you no or if I tell you yes. So yeah.
And the last thing I want to say is, it's not petty.
It's
And and
not.
and and let's just say this: it's not reverse psychology. It's not.
Mm-mm.
Understand? It's not petty. When people start saying, "Oh, you're petty," is this, is that? No, 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 no. That's a psychological game that they're playing with you, so they can suck you back in to
Yeah.
their drama and their foolishness. No, you have to be firm and confident in your decision to know that it's the right thing. Now, if you know you're being petty, that's
Mm-hmm. That's the difference.
you're doing it for petty reasons. That's different. But we're talking about genuinely muting people for your best interest as well as theirs, because it's going in a toxic direction. Remember, when we first kicked off Tuesday Tips, we talked about toxic relationships and how to spot those toxic relationships. This is basically another way to kind of put an end to toxic relationships. Sometimes before they even begin, let's put a mute button on you.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually they'll realize, okay, wait a minute, I've talked to this person, what's going on, da, da, da. Then you can have a mature conversation, because sometimes you can't always have a mature conversation with people stuck in foolishness, because they're one-sided and they see things one
Yeah.
way, one-dimensionally, and they're just not there yet, and that's okay. And
Right.
you might be soaring and taking off and going in a different direction. Again, you're looking at long term, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe the kind of people you want to be around, they're just not going to come around with people that you're hanging out with.
Right.
And so you got to mute people,
Mm-hmm.
because they're just not ready for the journey that you're about to embark on, or that you are embarking on. And you have to make the decision of whether they're worth that risk. And I can tell you, in long term, no, they're not.
Mm-mm.
They're not. And so again, it's beyond just your mental, but yes, your mental, because you have to take care of this before the rest of you can follow.
Yes.
So you don't want to be going through life kind of like The Walking Dead, just no, you take care of your mind. And sometimes that means muting people, whether social media or real life. That helps you get refocused and focus on what you need to. And it also puts you in a headspace where you can really attract the kind of people you need to help support you and get you to where you're trying to go.
Right.
Because some people aren't taking you seriously because you haven't pressed the mute button on some folks. People really do believe in that old saying, birds of a feather flock together. And my question to you, and that's how I'm going to leave it, is what birds are you flocking with?
Yep.
So that's all I got on the mute button, folks.
Yeah.
I'll let you close with whatever your closing thoughts are, because that mute button on real life, not just on social media. I think that's probably one of the more genius ideas that Facebook ever came up with for the app. But
I think it's necessary in your life, especially when you're trying to grow, especially when you're trying to mature and you have visions. You're seeing things that you want to accomplish in life, things that you want to get rid of. It's definitely necessary. Don't let anybody tell you that it's not. Don't let anybody make you feel bad. It's about you. Okay, like I've always been saying throughout this video and throughout other videos, no matter how long you've known somebody, your mental is much better. Like, you need to protect your mental, because that's what gets attacked the most, is your mental. It starts up here, your thoughts, how you view things, how you see things, everything starts here. So I just want to let you guys know that if you feel necessary, if you feel like you need to mute somebody for however long you feel like you need to mute them, do it. Okay? If it feels like you got to do long-term, short-term, temporary, whatever, do it. Okay? It's not selfish at all. It's not childish. It's none of that. It's necessary. So yeah, that's my closing remarks.
And I could not have said it better. So thanks for tuning in for another episode of Tuesday Tips, and we'll see y'all next week. And make sure y'all drop us some comments, inbox us if you want. There are some topics, some things you really want us to touch on, whether it's family, friends, business, career, whatever.
Yeah.
Inbox us. Drop us a comment, whatever, and we'll try to touch on it as much as possible. And if if there's something that you want us to revisit that we've already talked about before, we're happy to touch on it, especially from a different angle. Listen, some things we can never exhaust. We can never talk about enough. But a lot of it, we're very passionate about it, and we just want you to live life to the fullest. But you can't transform your community around you, and your community is not just everybody, but your community in your home. You are a community if you are not whole. And so we really just want to deal with you as a whole total being to be the best version of yourself possible. Otherwise, and that's how you can spread love and light, because if you are not happy, if you don't have joy, you cannot spread love and light. And that is how we believe you can transform global communities one citizen at a time. But it starts with you as a person being whole and complete. And so, so that's this week's Tuesday tip. And we'll see y'all next week and all that good stuff. And so we love y'all. And remember to spread lots of love and light. Bye.
Thanks for watching another episode of Tuesday Tips with Dr. LaTonya Hughes and Sinead Jordan. We hope to see you back next week. Until then, remember to spread lots of love and light.